Excellent, here's a full long retelling of Chapter 4. Hidden Motives in Mechanics from Voyagers 1, The Sleeping Abductees by Asha Yanadine. This chapter marks a turning point in the Voyagers narrative. The earlier chapters explained what extraterrestrial groups exist, Chapter 1, how they operate interdimensionally, Chapter 2, and how humanity was genetically engineered, Chapter 3. Chapter 4 now exposes why humanity is being manipulated, the psychological, energetic, and spiritual mechanisms of control, and how the Guardians say we can recognize and transcend them. Chapter 4, Hidden Motives and Mechanics, 1. Learning Dramas, the Earth Experiment. Dean begins by explaining that Earth was never meant to be a prison, but a school, a learning field where souls evolve through interaction with matter. The Guardian teachings describe Earth as part of a living hologram, a drama of evolution in which beings from many worlds participate to gain experience. However, the natural learning drama was hijacked. Certain extraterrestrial factions, particularly the Zeta Dracos Alliance, and several offshoots of the fallen Anu Elohim, realized that controlling Earth's reality field would give them access to massive energetic resources and genetic material. By inserting themselves into the planetary hologram, they began redirecting humanity's collective learning path toward confusion and dependency. The Guardians call this interference the distortion of the original covenant, a deviation from the divine plan that replaced evolution through freedom with evolution through control. 2. The Tree of Life. True versus artificial patterns. In the Guardian cosmology, every universe is structured through an energy grid called the Tree of Life, made of interconnected spheres and currents. When properly aligned, this tree channels source energy, what Dean calls the Christos current, directly into planetary and human morphogenetic fields. The intruder races, however, created an artificial version of this tree. By reversing certain mathematical codes, they could siphon energy from living systems instead of sharing it. This reversed template produced what the Guardians term Metatronic distortion, a self-consuming energy pattern that sustains itself only by draining other systems. Humanity's DNA and spiritual teachings were subtly altered to mirror this fallen tree, cutting people off from the natural flow of source. As a result, reincarnation became cyclical and memory was lost between lives. Dean says that most of today's esoteric and religious diagrams of the Tree of Life unknowingly trace back to this distorted model, which keeps seekers locked into an incomplete circuit. 3. Guardian Intervention. Throughout history, the Guardian Alliance periodically stepped in to correct these distortions. They sent emissaries, avatars, prophets, teachers to reintroduce the principles of the Law of One, the awareness that all beings are expressions of one source. Some of these Guardian representatives were remembered in myth as gods, angels, or enlightened masters. Yet every time the Guardians intervened, the intruder forces countered by hijacking the message, twisting the teachings into hierarchical religions or dogmas that turn people outward instead of inward. Thus, the chapter portrays history as a continual tug-of-war. Guardians bringing liberation, intruders re-encoding control. 4. The Zeta Conspiracy. The Zeta Reticuli, having lost their reproductive capacity, viewed humans as a resource not only for DNA, but also for frequency access. Human bodies resonate within the three-dimensional harmonic of Earth, which links directly to higher energy bands the Zetas can no longer enter. Their old agenda, according to Dean, was to create a hybrid race that could serve as a vehicle for their consciousness in our dimension. And they also sought to implant technologies in human and planetary grids to gradually shift Earth's frequency closer to their own, effectively taking possession of it without open warfare. This agenda became a conspiracy of silence within portions of Earth's interior, secret government, which traded technology for cooperation. The result? A planet covered by invisible frequency fences and holographic programs that manipulate perception on both personal and collective levels. 5. Holographic inserts and frequency fences. Here the chapter revisits ideas from earlier sections, but expands them dramatically, or holographic inserts. These are frequency-based false reality programs projected into Earth's morphogenetic field. They can simulate events, miraculous visions, divine apparitions, even entire historical epics that never occurred in the organic timeline. Many mythic or religious experiences, Dean suggests, were the result of such inserts, designed to steer belief systems toward worship, fear, or hopelessness. Frequency fences, massive energetic grids encircling the planet, anchored through satellite technologies, pyramidal structures, and underground bases. They vibrate at controlled harmonic frequencies that limit the range of human perception and DNA activation. The fences also scramble natural magnetic lines, causing confusion in consciousness and blocking communication with guardian channels. Together, these tools create what she calls the illusion matrix, the artificial simulation in which humanity currently operates, mistaking it for the totality of reality. 6. Zeta planet destruction and their desperation. The Guardians reveal that the Zeta's original homeworlds were destroyed long ago through misuse of scalar energy and genetic experiments. Their biology and souls became fragmented, forcing them into a state of partial existence between dimensions. Unable to regenerate naturally, they turned to parasitic survival methods, seeking to graft themselves into healthy species, primarily humans. From their perspective, this is survival. From ours, it is invasion. Their actions are driven by desperation, not pure evil, but the outcome remains detrimental. The erosion of human free will and the degradation of the planetary grid. 7. Holographic inserts and matrix transplantation. Dean describes a more advanced manipulation called matrix transplantation. This occurs when an intruder faction overlays an entire dimensional reality with a synthetic copy of its own. The process can merge timelines or redirect souls at death toward their artificial matrix rather than the natural ascension path. The false heaven, or astral trap concepts in occult lore, she says, are distorted human memories of these matrix overlays. By keeping reincarnating souls cycling through a transplanted hologram, intruders harvest energy indefinitely. Guardians, on the other hand, work to dismantle these overlays, reopening the authentic stargates so souls can move freely through the natural dimensional hierarchy. 8. Hidden motives of control. At this point, the book moves from cosmic science to the psychology of power. The intruder races, Dean writes, understand that belief directs frequency. By controlling what humans believe through religion, science, media, and emotional trauma, they can control the frequency of human thought and thus the planet's vibrational state. Their motives include energetic harvest, drawing vitality from emotional charge, fear, anger, despair, genetic access, maintaining hybrid bloodlines that serve as physical anchors for their consciousness, dimensional control, using Earth as a gateway to other worlds through its unique Stargate network, prevention of ascension, keeping humanity's DNA dormant so the species remains in the 3D cycle, unable to move beyond their influence. Dean emphasizes that this control system is largely psychological. It convinces people to limit themselves, to believe they are powerless, sinful, or merely biological. 9. The Guardian perspective on liberation. The Guardians teach that liberation begins not with rebellion, but with self-knowledge. When a person understands that their thoughts, emotions, and body are part of a multidimensional energy system, they can consciously raise frequency and dissolve external control fields. They reintroduce exercises such as Keylontic code meditation, Maharic seal activation, and living by the law of one, harmlessness, compassion, and unity. Through these practices, the human biofield aligns again with the organic tree of life, neutralizing holographic interference. The Guardians stress that no race or God can save humanity from manipulation. Only self-awareness can. Each person must reclaim their own frequency sovereignty. 10. The hidden mechanics of belief and energy. Dean links emotional energy to literal electrical current. Fear, guilt, and aggression produce low-frequency charge that feeds the artificial grid. Love, gratitude, and clarity generate high-frequency current that strengthens the organic grid. Thus, everyday emotions are not trivial. They determine which network a person supports. In this view, emotional mastery is a form of planetary activism. 11. The role of the learning drama. Revisited. Even though the situation appears dark, the Guardians regard it as a necessary stage in evolution. By confronting deception, humans learn discernment and self-command. The entire cosmic drama. Guardians versus intruders, light versus shadow, exists to catalyze consciousness into remembering its source. When humanity collectively recognizes the artificial systems and chooses alignment with the authentic frequency of love and unity, the false matrix will collapse naturally. This event, the Guardians say, is already underway and will accelerate as Earth approaches her next dimensional shift. 12. Closing thoughts of the chapter. The chapter closes on both a warning and a promise. The warning: if humanity continues to ignore the existence of frequency manipulation and blindly trusts external authorities, the intruder factions will complete their objective permanent control of Earth's grid and the recycling of human souls into artificial matrices. The promise: if even a fraction of humanity reawakens to its original 12-strand potential and begins practicing personal frequency control, the natural grids will restabilize and the intruders will lose access permanently. Dean urges readers not to fall into fear, but to view all of this as information tools for awareness, not superstition. Knowledge of the mechanics behind control is the first step toward freedom. Summary table. Holcomb concept meaning, function effect on humanity artificial tree of life. Reversed energy template created by intruders. Disconnects. Humans from source, drains life-force. Frequency. Fences, planetary grids that limit perception and DNA activation. Keep population, docile and unaware. Holographic inserts, false realities, projected into the collective field. Create historical and religious illusions. Matrix. Transplantation overlays of synthetic dimensions. Trap souls in false reincarnation cycles. Guardian intervention re-education through law of one teachings. Restores natural DNA and freedom. Dual white, tone and message. This chapter blends metaphysics, cosmic politics, and spiritual psychology. It reads partly like a warning document, partly like a manual for awakening. Its message is consistent with the series' central theme. Humanity is imprisoned not by aliens or governments alone, but by distorted frequencies of belief. When we reclaim awareness of our true, multidimensional design, the prison walls dissolve. Would you like me to retell Chapter 5, Awareness, Emotion, and Intuition, next? That one moves from cosmic mechanics into the personal inner work explaining how awareness, emotion, and intuition function as the tools for liberation from these frequency controls.